All right, everyone, welcome back. It's Michael's backyard marina, and I say that as pretty much a joke because I don't have water within 20 miles of me. Let me see if I can adjust this thing a little bit more for us here. There we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. I discovered something really interesting. I've got this boat I picked up a couple months ago. I just changed the stern drive oil in it. And earlier this week I was playing around with it. I was checking compression because I haven't really fired the boat up. Got it ready to fire up. I ran it. It ran rough, so rough. It's terrible rough. So I thought, well, I'll pull in plugs and check compression. I checked compression on the front cylinder here. I had 110 pounds. Second one back I had 60. Third one back I had 110. And the back one I had 70. That was disappointing. I thought, man, I got to get into this motor and I'm going to have to figure out what's going on. But when I pull the spark plugs out, and I don't have the one here that I pulled out, but I noticed that spark plug on the number 2 cylinder here, I think that's 2. Anyway, I'm going to call it second from the front. It was rusty. And I thought, oh no, that's got rust down in the cylinder. It's got something going on. So I sprayed some lube and stuff in there. Thought maybe I could work it out. Checked it the next day after I ran it for another 15 minutes. Got up temperature, let it set. Still only had 60 pounds of pressure in that cylinder. And I know I'm not a big believer in snake oils, but Marvel Mystery Oil. I'm not being sponsored by these guys. I just really loved what it did for me. I took this Marvel Mystery Oil right here and I rolled this motor over to top dead center on that cylinder. And I did it on all the cylinders actually, but I just did primarily focus on that one pretty heavily. That's one we'll talk about. I took a little piece of soldering wire, something that wouldn't break off, very gentle on things, and I could roll this motor around until I felt that come up to top dead center on the compression stroke. When it did that, I knew I was all the way up and the valves are shut. With the valves are shut, I can pressurize that cylinder. So what I did is there you go, backyard mechanic here, made me a little paper funnel. Stuck it in the spark plug hole. Glug, glug, glug. You can see, I don't know how full this was when I started. It was probably up to about here. I put that much in there total. And what I did is I poured it in there. I wasn't worried about saturating because this stuff can go in the oil, it can go in the gas, and go anywhere it wants. And then I took a rubber nose air hose nozzle, and that I could seal that plug hole up with, and I put that in there, and I put pressure. Hold it tight, because if you don't hold it tight and let go early, you'll be covered in the stuff, and that happened. So I put a little more in and did it again. And this has got a vent hose, so you're not going to put a lot of pressure in the crankcase. You're not going to blow out the seals on either end. I've worked on motors here and there. I'm not by no means an expert mechanic, but I know my way around a few things, so that's why I want to share this stuff with you. It's something I learned. This is new to me. Blasted it in there with that. You could hear a little hollow sound in there. So what you want to do is force that stuff by these rings, around these rings, and into the rings, and oil ring and everything else. And then I did that. Put this funnel back in. Put some more of this stuff, mystery oil, in there. And then I let it sit overnight. I thought, I'm gonna let this thing soak. And then what I did after I let it soak, I'm gonna pull these plugs out real quick. They're just in there loose for now. And I'm gonna show you the results. I ran it the next night. I ran the motor, and it ran better. It didn't run great, but it ran better. The lowest I could get it to idle was about 1,000 RPM, which that ain't cool. And you can probably see maybe in this, I don't know, in this shot, but I got the carburetor off of it right now because I'm rebuilding the carburetor. I got a kit coming in the morning. I've got the carburetor soaking in some carburetor cleaner right now. So I'll be doing that video next, cleaning up the parts and putting that bad boy back together, mounting it back on here. And I got new plug wires coming too. This thing currently has a points ignition. That's one of the next things I'm gonna get rid of. Looks like there's some good electronic ignitions out there for about 60 to 70 bucks. So you can convert it over, get rid of the points. Don't ever have to worry about the timing floating around or the points changing. So I'm going to show you this little miracle that happened. So the next day after I ran this thing, I'm going to put my compression tester in here. I ran it for about 15-20 minutes. And I ran some, what's it called, mechanics in a bottle through the gas, thinking maybe I'd clean the carburetor out a little bit. Once I got the carburetor off, I realized it was beyond that. The nice thing was, though, there was no shellac in the carburetor. It was clean. It just had a bunch of sediment and some, I don't know what you call it, like cave-like stalactite stuff stuck in there. So I'm going to turn this over. We're going to watch this thing pump up some pressure now. I don't know if you can see that. The fuel pump pumped gas out. I don't have it hooked to anything, but it had some leftovers. I don't know if you can see that very well. That's a solid 140. I'm going to say my gauge is off 10 pounds because this motor was supposed to only do 130. Or no, 140. I take that back. The book said 140. And that's what that cylinder that was pumping up 60. And this is after I ran that motor several times. It still only pumped up 60. I put this snake oil down the throat and I get this same pressure. I wrote it down. I'm calling it 130 safely, but I got balanced 130 on all. So I had, keep in mind, I had 110, 60, 110, 70. Now I've got 130 on all 4 cylinders. So you don't know how happy I was to see that I don't have to go into this motor, and I can possibly get this on the water this fall because I want to get some fishing done. So the other thing I'll show you real quick. Now, when you pull the distributor cap off, and let's see if I can do this without jostling this around crazy amount on you.